Hello, good morning students of class 6. Welcome to the third part on Unit 3 Fibre to Fabric. Now today we would start with a new topic in which we would study about yarn to fabric and history of clothing material. So our first topic is yarn to fabric. There are many ways by which fabrics are made from yarns. The two main processes are weaving and knitting. So we would start with the first process. What do you mean by weaving? The process of arranging two sets of yarns together to make a fabric is called weaving. See this first figure. Two sets of yarns, one from here and another from this side. Two sets of yarns are together arranged to make a fabric. That process is called weaving. Weaving of fabric is done on looms. See the second figure, it is also done on looms. Second is knitting. In knitting, a single yarn, only one thread, is used to make a piece of fabric. See this figure, first figure, knitting. Have you ever pulled the yarn from a torn pair of socks? What happens? A single yarn gets pulled out continuously as the fabric gets unraveled. Socks and many other clothing items are made up of knitted fabrics. Knitting is done by hand as shown in the first two figures, and it may also be done on machines. So two processes are there. First one weaving and second is knitting. From how the yarn is converted to the fabric. Next topic is history of clothing material. Have you ever wondered what materials people used in ancient times for clothes? What types of clothes they were wearing? It appears that in those times people used the bark and big leaves of trees or animal skins and furs to cover themselves. See this first figure. They were using to cover their body, they were using the bark leaves or the animal skin to cover themselves. After people began to settle in agricultural communities, they learned to weave twigs and grass into the mats and baskets. Vines, animal fleece or hair were twisted together into long strands. These were woven into fabrics. The early Indians wore fabrics made up of cotton that grew in the regions near the river Ganga. Flax is also a plant that gives natural fibers. See this first figure. It is a flax. Flax is a plant from which the fiber is obtained. In ancient Egypt, cotton as well as flax were cultivated near the river Nile and were used for making the fabrics. In those days, stitching was not known. People simply wrapped the fabrics around the different parts of their body. Many different ways of draping fabrics were used. With the invention of sewing needle, see this first figure, after the invention of needle, people started stitching fabrics to make clothes. Stitched clothes have gone through many variations since this invention. But it is not amazing that even today, see the second figure, sari, dhoti, lungi or turban is used as an unstitched piece of fabric. Just as there is a large variety in the food eaten all over the country, a large variety also exists in fabrics and clothing material. We would end our chapter here. Now you have to read from the textbook.